Welcome. Good morning and welcome to our Amud Yomi Shiur. And Amud today in the Gemara, we're now in Kiddushin Daf Lamed Beis Amud Aleph in the two dots, more or less in the middle of the page. We have two dots. Shiur is for the tzlocha of all of Klal Yisrael. Soldiers, captive people should come back very soon, and everybody else. Matzni le Rav Cheskel Rami Brei. We are studying now the halachas of Kibud Avreim. Yeah, respecting one's parents, honoring one's parents. And one of the issues that we're going to see now is the issue of not arguing with your father. Do not argue with your father. And we're going to see the halachic parameters of that. Story time. Matni Lamed Beis Amud Aleph. I don't know if you got my Zoom yesterday, my email, but we're doing review, repetition, revising, and rereading. Matni le Rav Cheskel Rami Brei. Rav Cheskel, the father of Rami, he taught his son the following brisa. And the following brisa is as follows. Hanisofim baniskolim. So now, let's again, this is the third time we're learning this. Hanisofim baniskolim. Let's say there's a group of people, actually two groups of people who got mixed up one with the other. One smaller group of people got mixed up with a bigger group of people. What do I mean by mixed up? The smaller group of people are supposed to get misas BSD, the execution of BSD, through sreifa. And the bigger group supposed to get that misa through skila. Yeah. Now the question is, which one is more severe, sreifa or skila? So now, right? Why do we care about that? Because we don't know what to do now. On each and every person, we have a question, a big question mark. Is this guy over here in that big group? Is he supposed to get sreifa or skila? Tomorrow morning, we're going to, unfortunately, if there's no other choice, we have to execute him, to kill him. So are you supposed to do sreifa or skila to each and every guy? So now the minority of the people are sreifa and the majority are skila. We have two factors that we have to take into account here. First of all, majority versus minority rules, right? Yeah, if you have more kosher pieces of meat, let's say, and less and non-kosher pieces, but less of them, you follow the majority. And the other issue is which one is lighter and which one is more severe, sreifa or skila, because the rule tells us, the halachic rules tells us that you're not supposed to give people the harsher death than they deserve. It's okay to give someone a more lenient kind of death, not the more severe one. So now, what do you do when nisrofim are beniskolim? You have a minority of people who are supposed to be nisraf, and you're giving, and they're mixed up with a niskal. Machloikes says the Bryce at the beginning, Rabbi Shimon Omer, Yidoinu beskila. You give skila to all of them, even the ones who were supposed to get sreifa, but we don't know. You give all of them skila. Why? Shasreifa chamura. According to Rabbi Shimon, sreifa is the worst form of death. It's having a very, very, very hot drink of lead, and the person burns from the inside. Very painful. According to him, it's worse than skila, and therefore you always go with the sreifa, which is less severe. Very nice. Okay. This is the end of the brisa. The way the Rabbi Cheskel, by the way, Rabbi Cheskel and Rami are Meroim. They were learning brises. Amar le Rav Yehuda Brei, Rav Yehuda, the son of Rabbi Cheskel, the son of the father teaching his brother, is approaching him now. He has a comment to make. Abba, lo titni achi. Don't teach him that way. Don't teach my brother that way. Why? The way to read the brisa is wrong. The way you read it. Ma iria sreifa chamura. If the way you're teaching me a certain concept with an example, your example is wrong. Why? Because if you're telling me that the minority are the nisrofim and majority are the niskolim, so regardless of the fact of who is lighter and who is more severe, in any event, you follow the majority, right? In other words, who cares about who's lenient and who's not lenient? At the end of the day, you follow the majority. So if the way you describe the situation, the scenario here is that the majority are skila, then you don't get the chiddush, because anyhow you give them skila because skila is the majority. Ela hachi itzniya. This is how you should teach my brother. Aniskolim banisrofim. You should teach him the same concept, but in a different scenario. Teach him that the niskolim banisrofim, the minority are niskolim, the majority are nisrofim. Even though usually we follow the roiv, usually we follow the majority, here we have the spitz of the chiddush to tell you that really because According to Reb Shimon, skila is more lenient. Therefore, we follow the minority. That's a chiddush. Now we get the chiddush, with real loud colors. We now know, even though we don't, we go against the normal parameters of halacha, we follow the minority because we have another thing that overrides it. We want to give somebody always the lighter one. Very good. Omerli, the father now has something to say. The father, Rav Yecheskel, is answering back to his son. Yochi, according to you, the way you want to read the brisa, that really the niskolim are the minority, ema seifa. Look at the seifa of the brisa, and something's not going to make sense. Look what the seifa says. It says, "V'chachomim oimrim yudonu b'seifa." It says in the seifa, Chachomim argue with Rabbi Shimon. The argument is on one point only. Which one is more severe? Skila. Chachamim believe that if you have a mixture of people like that, all of them should receive streifa. Why? Shaskila chamura. Because the most severe form of punishment is skila. We always want to downplay the misa, and therefore skila is chamura, do streifa. According to you, my dear son, my area the skila chamura. According to you, why are you telling me that the skila is more severe, and that's why you have to kill them? And the way you have sreifa, you just made here a scenario with the majority are sreifa. If the majority are sreifa, that's already a good reason of itself. Yeah, who cares about severe or not severe? The majority on Nisrofim fall in Nisrofim. In other words, the exact same problem you had with me in Reb Shimon, I've exactly copy and paste the same problem with you in Chachamim. You don't see the true colors of the Chiddush of who's severe, who's lenient, because you have a majority here. Obviously, you give Sreifa. Who cares about Sreifa being lighter? The mere fact that Sreifa is a roiv, yeah, you have a majority. I gave you an example yesterday. What was the example? I told you. Of course, you follow the roiv lechumra. Let's say one of the main places where we see roiv in the Torah is Dayanim. Yeah, you have 23 Dayanim. Yeah, you have a big majority. Yeah, basically, I don't know, 20 Dayanim decided one way, lechumra, and 3 Dayanim lekula. Of course, you go lechumra, because majority rules. So you don't see rules over here. Omerle, the son has what to say. Answer the son. No, says the son to his father, says Rav Yehuda. Awesome, over there, Rabbanan u'dekamul Rab Shimon. Rabbanan are telling Rab Shimon according to what you say, not according to what we say. Rabbanan talk in Rab Shimon's terms and say, according to you, the Komer Tzreifa Chamura, Lo Iskila Chamura, which means they say like this, Enachinami, we're not coming to say that that's the only reason why he should get Sreifa. Enachinami, he should get Sreifa anyways. Why? Because Sreifa is a majority. True, right? But even according to you, that you believe that skila is less chomor. According to you, it should really be that when there's sreifa and skila, according to you, one second. They're saying there are two issues here. In other words, to say skila chamura is not a reason for what they're saying. They're saying the following: really, you should judge them b'sreifa b'osaroiv. We all agree that we follow the majority. Majority is what? We follow the majority. If the majority has nisrofim, you give them sreifa, right? You're telling me, no, let's follow the minority against the normal rule because the minority is more kal, because it's kila. That we disagree with. We remain with the regular klal. The regular klal is what? That sreifa is the majority, and therefore we stay with that. You want to change the klal? You want to follow the minority and tell me, no, I'll go with the minority because the minority of skila is more lenient? Yeah, and therefore we should follow that, the more lenient one. We don't agree with that. We think that the streifa is more lenient. So streifa has two pluses. A, it's a majority of people. B, it's more lenient. You definitely give them streifa. In other words, in order to summarize, there are always two rules here. One rule is you follow the majority. All very nice. The other rule is you always give in the lighter death, the lighter kind of death, and therefore, even if the lighter kind of death is a minority, you follow the minority. And that's the argument here between Chachomim and Reb Shimon. And so far, the son Rav Yehuda is now winning the game. He's winning the argument. Yeah. In other words, his father should have taught differently. Yeah, you should have said he should really say that aniskolim and nisrofim, the niskolim are the minority, and that's whopping chiddush according to Reb Shimon. You follow the minority against the majority because he believes niskolim are lighter. Oh, so the son seems to be right. Now back to Kibud Avayim. What does that have to do with Kibud Avayim? Omer Shmuel of Yudah. Shmuel was, I assume, Shmuel was listening into that conversation. Shmuel was the Rav, the mentor of Rav Yudah, and Rav Yudah quotes Shmuel many, many times in Shas. Rav Yudah was the Talmid of Rav and Shmuel, second generation Amoira. And now Shmuel tells Rav Yudah, Shinena, you sharp one, you're sharp man, you're smart and quick, but don't talk to your father like that. Yeah, in other words, don't tell your father, don't teach my brother that way. Tanya, because we see in the Brisa, somebody sees his father doing Chilul Shabbos unknowingly, eating not kosher unknowingly, teaching Torah the wrong way, obviously not with bad intention. The father is a Rosha, by the way. There's a machlokas whether you have to respect him or not. Father is a Rosha. There's a Shaila machlokas in the Poiskim whether it deserves Kibud Av or not, and to what extent. We're not talking about that. The father doesn't know any better. Yeah, the son thinks the father doesn't know. He knows that the father doesn't know. What should you do? Al Yomer Loi, he should not tell him, Abba Ovalt al Divrei Torah. Don't tell him directly, Daddy, you're over in Divrei Torah. Abba, you just sinned. You just, broke, you just transgressed against the Torah. Ela Omer Loi, he should tell him, Abba Kach Kosuv b'Torah. When you see your father doing something wrong, the wrong thing, you should tell him, this is what it says in the Torah, meaning unlike what you do, more indirectly. I frag the Gemara, that's still not respectful enough. Kach Kosuv b'Torah? This is what you should tell your father. This is what it says. Yeah, you see your father, I don't know, doing something on Shabbos, boirer. Yeah, he doesn't know it's boirer. You tell him, it says so in the Torah to not do what you're doing now. It's still tsar. It's still making the father feel bad. You're still not respecting him. Yeah, because the father realizes very clearly, if he just did the boirer and you told him, it says in the Torah not to do boirer, you're being too direct regarding, too close for comfort regarding what he's doing. But rather he should tell the father, Abba, mikro kosuv b'Torah kach. Oh, here's the machlokes rishonim. Rashi says, mikro kosuv b'Torah kach means make the statement detached from the Maisa. In other words, beforehand, Rashi says pitom. When you tell the father suddenly, right away after the Maisa, that's too connected. But if you tell your father, as if he's saying Edvar Halacha, he's opening a sefer, saying Edvar Halacha, let's learn Hilchas Shabbos, let's learn about Boirer. The father will understand you're alluding to what he does, but you're not being too direct. You're not saying it in relation to what he did. You start saying Edvar Halacha, V'hamevin Yovin. This is Rashi. Rambam and Shulchan Aruch following him say no. Abba Mirka Kosu B'Torah Kach. The intonation should be as a question. In other words, didn't we learn in the Torah that boirer, not what you're doing now, that taking the, cherry tomato out of the salad is a boirer? Didn't we learn that this and that is boirer? As offering a question, letting the father save his face. That's the idea. Yeah? In other words, don't be too direct. That is more respectful. So respectful to say, isn't it so and so? Like as a question, doesn't get too confrontational with the father, and that is respectful, and that is okay. So there are three levels. Not only you shouldn't tell him you're wrong, you should not even tell him it says so and so in a clear, direct way. You should ask it as a question, or as you're reading in the Dvar Halacha, detached from the Maisa. Now comes another issue of Kibud Avayim. What? Right. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, Rav Yehuda was wrong according to Shmuel. Absolutely, yeah. That's what Shmuel definitely rebuked Rav Yehuda and said, no, don't talk to your father like that. Don't tell him, don't teach this way. That's very direct. And therefore, why did Rav Yehuda do that? I don't know. But this Rav Yehuda is being educated by Shmuel the entire Shas. All the time Shmuel tells Rav Yehuda, don't do this, don't do that. He gives him a lot of musar. Okay, now, Elazar ben Matya Oimer, B'siyata Dishmaya. Elazar ben Matya says the following regarding where is Kibud Av V'Eim in relation to other mitzvahs. Yeah, you have Kibud Av V'Eim versus other mitzvahs that you have to perform. Yeah, Baruch Hashem, a rain of mitzvahs. It's raining mitzvahs and mitzvahs. What do you do? The father, someone's father tells him, give me water to drink. And on the other hand, umitzvah lasois. There's another mitzvah, says Rashi, what kind of mitzvah? Likbor esames or levaya, which are typical to bury the dead, go to a levaya. This is a mitzvah oiveris. There's a person, I'm not saying it's a meis mitzvah right now, because meis mitzvah means there's nobody else. That's another question. We're talking here about a mitzvah, which is a mitzvah oiveris. You have to do it right now, bury the dead, go to levaya. Yeah, the person has to be buried now. So your father is asking you for a drink, and in the other side of town, the other side of the street, there is a levaya to attend to, and you have to be melave. The levaya goes. That's it. They'll only bury him once. Yeah. So what do you do? Yeah. Do you go to the father? Do you go to the mitzvah verse? Which means what? Obviously, as it says in the halacha, if it's giving the father to drink and afterwards doing a mitzvah sheino veres, yeah, whatever, daven mincha. Oh, that's a good mitzvah. Why? Mitzvah can mincha can daven all the way from half an hour after chatzos till shkia. Yeah, you have in the summer, you have a very nice 6-7 hours to daven mincha. So don't tell me I'm rushing to mincha. No, give your father another drink. Help your father go to a later minyan of mincha. That's for sure. That's not even a question. That's not even in the cards. That's not even in the Gemara. The question is a levaya. I have to go to a levaya of a good friend, a Talmid Chacham, right now. Yeah, and I have the father also asking me right now, what do you do? So now we have a machloikis. Elazar ben Masya says, "Meniach ani kvoid Abba v'oises mitzvah." I would, for now, let father. I would leave behind, leave on the side. Yeah, I would not do the covet of the father. Will not do the service for my father, and I will perform the other mitzvah. Why? Shani ve'Abba chayavim b'mitzvah. Yeah, both father and I chayav b'mitzvah. In other words, the mitzvah is a mitzvah towards the Kadosh Baruch Hu. My father and I are both chayav b'mitzvah, and therefore my father also is actually chayav in the levaya. So conceptually, that levaya sameis is more choshev than kibbud avayim. Therefore, I'll go to the levaya, even if there are other people who can do that. I would still go to the levaya and not go to my father. That's opinion number one. Isi ben Yehuda says, "Im efshar lemitzvah le'oses l'idei acheirim, le'oses l'idei acheirim, v'yelech hu b'kvoid oviv." Says Isi ben Yehuda, depends. If you are the only one, then I agree. If nobody else would go to the levaya, nobody else would bury the dead, meis mitzvah, then you go to the meis mitzvah and you don't go to your father. However, if other people can bury the dead, if other people can go to the levaya, if other people can help the old lady cross the street, if other people can make a nice project for the chayalim, whatever, and I don't have to be the one doing it, I would go to my father and leave behind the other mitzvah. And this is a loch in Shulchan Aruch. If it's a mitzvah, which is what? A mitzvah oiveres, right? But it's a mitzvah that other people can perform as well, then other people should do it and not me. I'll go to give my father to eat and drink and drive him around. That's halacha. Yesterday it wasn't so clear. Now it's clear. Very, very pashut. Now I have something to add. I know why, because Baruch Hu did it, the Zoom didn't work, because I have a very, very important addition to add here, and I wanted to add it yesterday. I'm going to say today, but that is obviously only after hearing your questions. Yes, question time. Important. I'm answering a question now. This is a very big yesod in Lomdus. You asked the question, parents. It seems like both father and son have to go to the levaya, right? And therefore, yeah, if both the father and I, that means that because the father should go, anyhow, he should be in the levaya. Why am I serving him water? Daddy, let's go to the levaya. Have fun. That's not Lanius Daita. That's not what's going on here. In Lomdus, wherever we see a sugi in the Gemara, we always have to gauge in our minds to assess: is it a siman or a siba? You may write it down if you want. Siman or siba, which means sometimes halachos and understanding halacha, things work in a way of siba, a cause. That's how you understand it. Because the father technically has to go to the levaya, we say, "Yalla, Daddy, go to the levaya." No, it's not what's going on here. Here we're talking about a siman. Siman is an indication, meaning the fact that the father conceptually has to go to the levaya or help the old lady or daven mincha late or whatever. That shows you, that's an indication that the other mitzvahs are more choshev than kibbud av. It's not because he can't go. Even if he's in wheelchair and half blind, he won't go to the Levaya. The mere fact that Levaya is Mechayiv my father shows that in the totem pole of mitzvahs, Kibud Av is below other mitzvahs because other mitzvahs he's also Mechuyev. It's a siman, not a siba. It's an indication. It shows you that the other mitzvahs are more. And by the way, that's not the halacha. The halacha is not like that. The halacha is that if other people can do it, then Kibud Avim comes before. Because Kibud Av, and why? Kibud Av is your mitzvah. To bury the dead, you have 10 other people do it. Called Chevra Kadisha. Shenki Kibud Av is your own mitzvah shebegufay. Yes, Yosef? Good. Yes? Yaakov. Yaakov. What I'd like to add is as follows. I saw a very interesting, there's a pamphlet that I get on Shabbos. A very nice man, Reuven, gives me this pamphlet. And the pamphlet is, they always have like a section about Kibud Avim. And they claim that it's based on the psak from some Choshev Poisek. And they had a question as follows. The question was like this. The father, there was a case, I don't know, I hope it's not a true real life case. The father sent his son, the son was going to Chutz La'aretz, and the father tricked him and sent drugs with the son to Chutz La'aretz, as some nice people do. They caught the son, and obviously he's going to get many years in jail. I don't know, Thailand, Turkey, one of these nice places. Yeah, he would rot in jail for many years in horrible conditions. So now he has two options. He can either tell them the truth that the father is the one who gave it to him. Let's say they would believe him, and then they would, the father would sit in jail. Or the son should not tell them that the father did it, and then the son should sit in the jail, even though it's the father's fault. The father should sit in jail instead of the father. So they said the son should sit in jail instead of his father. Okay, so my question is as follows. First of all, I'm not sure such a father deserves kibud ov. Yeah, is pashtas rosho. That's one question. Question number two, the son, if he's going to be in jail, then first of all, his family, if he's married, they're going to suffer tremendously. And they're not mechuyev in the kibud av as much as he is. That's a psak I got from the Rav. The family members are not as mechuyev as the son himself. So he's going to destroy his wife's life, his marriage life. He's going to destroy his children's lives for the father. That's not pashut at all. Secondly, if he's not married, then he's postponing his shidduch if he'll ever be able to get shidduch. He's destroying his mitzvah. I'm talking mitzvahs, not he's destroying his life. Thirdly, he won't be able to mekayim mitzvahs. In most jails in the world, you can be mekayim mitzvahs as well as you can outside. Maybe only in Israel, in the frum section of jail, you can, but there is such a section, but there is no, so it's very surprising. I wonder what the real psak was that they're basing themselves on. But here in the sugya, it doesn't look like, Kibud Avim overrides every possible mitzvah all over the world. That's just my thing. Weiter. Okay, let's continue this happy note. Isi ben Yehuda Omer, fine. Omer Vitzrach bar Shila, Omer of Matna, Omer of Chizda. Ha'av shemochel al kvoidoi, kvoido mochul. A father who was mochel on the kovid, a father that gave not, I would say mochel, he forgives. He forgave in the kovid. In other words, he doesn't mind. He's wavering his rights to receive kovid, and he said, what? Relinquishes his kovid rights, and he says, I'm not interested in kovid, it's okay. Meaning on both sides. The father has permission to give in on his kovid, give away the kovid, and the children don't have to be mechabed him anymore. We're going to see if there's a limitation, but the word is that it's not a ben adam l'makam, ben adam l'chaver. Ben adam l'chaver, we always know, is up to the person. Here, it's up to the father. He's not interested. On the other hand, a Rav, someone's Torah teacher that was mochel in the kovid, and kvodo mochul, his kovid is not forgiven. In other words, the Rav and the Talmud, the Rav should still demand kovid, and the Talmud should give him kovid, and the Rav cannot relinquish his kovid. So says Rav Chizda. Rav Yosef Omar. Rav Yosef argues and says, "Afila Rav shemochel kvodo mochul." Even the Rav that was mochel, it's mechila. You don't have to be mechabedim. You can be buddy with the Rav, and treat him as your best friend. Pat him on the back. Call him his first name. All is good. Lichoiro. That's what we think now. Why? Sheneemar, it says, "Vashem holech lifneim yoimam." Hashem Himself gave such amazing service to Bnei Israel. One of the ways to show over to the Rav is not to receive service from the Rav. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, He's the greatest Rav in the world. And what did the Kadosh Baruch Hu do? He walked in front of Bnei Israel, showing them the light. So Kadosh Baruch Hu was a very nice tour guide. and nobody complained. We don't see Moshe Rabbeinu saying, "Oh, Hashem, stop coming." On the contrary, they wanted Hashem to be there. So you see, a Rav can serve his Talmud, can be servile towards his Talmud. Amar Rav, and soon you're going to see what the reason is. By the way, why? What's the reason why the Rav should or shouldn't be Meichel the Koven? Coming up soon. Amar Rav, Hachi Ashta says Rav, Hachi Ashta, is that comparable? Are you comparing a Kodesh Baruch Hu to Talmid Chacham? I don't like the comparison. Why? Awesome, over there with the Kodesh Baruch Hu, a Kodesh Baruch Hu Alma Dilehu, Kodesh Baruch Hu, the world belongs to him. The Torah Dilei, the Torah belongs to Hashem. Machilei Liikore, a Kodesh Baruch Hu was Meichel his Koven. Hashem owns the world. Hashem owns the Torah, and therefore Hashem says, you know what? I'm cool with you guys. I'm okay to be the leader, to be the tour guide. Very nice. Oh, but over here with the Talmid Chacham, Torah Dilehi, the Talmid Chacham, is the Torah does the Torah belong to him? No. Which means the Torah belongs to Hashem. The reason why you have to mechabed the Rav is not because he has blue eyes or because he has a green tie or because he has a PhD maybe in something. Why do you have to be mechabed the Rav? For one reason only, and that is his Torah. You're not mechabed him, you mechabed his Torah. And therefore, if you mechabed his Torah, the Torah is not his to be meichel. Yeah, if you see a Torah-dika person washing everyone else's floor and picking up the garbage, yeah, for other people, then what happens? Then you see that the Torah is being in a way desecrated. How can the Talmid Chacham give up on that? He's representing something. However, Hadar Omer Rove, but then Rava basically revoked and changed his mind. Rava changed and regretted the original statement, and he said, yes, Torah Dilehi. The Torah of the Talmid Chacham does belong to him. Avodazor Daf Yutes Dichsiv, it says, "Ubetoroso yege yom v'layla." We all know the first chapter of the Psalms. We know the Perek Rishon Tilim, right? Im betoros Hashem cheftzoi, betoroso yege yom v'layla, which means at the beginning, David the Melech calls the Torah Hashem, but once the Talmid Chacham melamda ilamda v'gosa, says Rashi, once the Talmid Chacham really gets into it and he knows his stuff and his girth and he knows Torah, then the Torah becomes his. Which means, obviously, the Torah is not owned by the Talmid Chacham, but his chelik in Torah is his. That's the idea. Get what I'm saying? Now, the Torah is an endless pool of kedusha and knowledge and everything else. It's Hashem's brains. That's Torah. But the little bit of Torah that belongs to this Talmid Chacham are, so to speak, I'll give you a good example. Hashem helps me now. It's like a share in the company. Yeah, if you have a share in Coca-Cola, are you the CEO of Coca-Cola? You own Coca-Cola? With all due respect, you have one share worth, I don't know, a few dollars, I don't know how much, yeah? Very nice. Good. You have one share, half a share, you're not the owner, your share is yours. You can sell it, you deal with it, you're a broker, Wall Street, yeah, you're the owner of this share. Don't make fun of me. I have one share in Coca or half a share, yeah? Then I can do whatever I want with that share, as far as I know, yeah? And therefore, that's the idea over here. His chelik in Torah that he represents is his. And therefore, it can be Michael, and he can dance around like a clown. So we think right now. It's going to change, yeah? Right now, we think he can be Michael the Kovid and just, let everyone treat him like a doormat. That's what we think. Frek the Gemara, is that so? Is Rava on the team, on the side, the Rava says what? That really a Talmid Chacham is allowed to relinquish his Kovid? Is that so? Look at the following story. Listen to the story. Rava himself, what did he do? Mashki behilula debrei. Rava would be the butler, the person in charge of the drinks in his son's chasana. The dal lekoso leRav Papa. He picked up the cup. Yeah, in other words, he gave the cup to drink to Rav Papa leRav Huna bred Rav Yoshua. He actually physically brought the cups of wine to two Amiroim, Rav Papa, Rav Huna bred Rav Yoshua. V'kamu mikamei. And they stood up in front of him as he was approaching their table with a bottle of wine in hand. They stood up in his honor. And on the other hand, Rav Mari, Rav Pinchas Brei, Rav Chizda, yeah, there were two other Amoraim, Rav Mari and Rav Pinchas. Some say Brei, they're both the children of Chizda. They didn't stand up in front of him. I want you to understand why didn't they stand up in his honor? Because they saw that he was Moichelis Kovid. If you being the butler, you being the waiter, the one serving the wine, you yourself, Rava, you show you don't care. So we play the game. We play along with you, we humor you, and we go along with it, and we don't give you extra covet. Ikpad. And suddenly, all of a sudden, unexpectedly, Rava was upset. Rava took the umbrage. And Rava said, no, that's wrong, people. The Omar, he said, Hanu Rabbanon Rabbanon, Vanu Rabbanon, Lav Rabbanon. Are these Rabbanon? Yes, Rabbanon. Are they Chashuvim? You guys, are you people super extra Rabbanim and you're so choshuv, you don't stand up in front in my honor? The Hanu Rabbanon are not. The other two Amoraim who stood up for me, you think they're less choshuv? Right? That doesn't make, in other words, so the question is, you see that Rava was actually not Moichel is covered. Moreover, you see that even if the Talmud Chacham is Moichel and is covered, and Kvoidoi Mochel. Listen, I got a Chiddush now. Talmud Chacham Shemochel al Kvoidoi and Kvoidoi Mochel. You hear the double Lashon? He was Moichel on the covered, but the covered is not Nimchal. So even if the Talmud Chacham is being very buddy-buddy with you, and he says, call me by my first name, I'll serve you to drink, I'll give you to drink, I'll wash your floor for you, you're still supposed to refuse. Yeah? He showed humility on his side, doesn't mean that they should have, but that's difficult. Yeah, you're saying that they should not play along, they should have showed him respect. But Rava himself said that Talmud Chacham maybe Michael in his covered, and he was. Rava was. So what does he want from them? Rava himself said, no problem, it's okay. Fire delay. The two. Another question of Pope. Ave Mashki Behilula, the Abba Mar Brei. Rav Papa would serve the drinks and the chasana of Abba Mar, his son. Where do we see all 10 children of Rav Papa? Where do they appear? In the Siyum. Mar Papa, Suchan Papa, right? Merz Hashem, one day we'll make a Siyum in Kiddushin too. And Rav Papa's son, Abba Mar, Rav Papa himself, the father of the Chosan, wasn't sitting in the Mizrach. He was walking around giving the drinks. V'dali lekasa, and he gave particularly one cup of wine, he gave to Rav Yitzchak Bred Rav Yehuda. He gave the cup of wine to Rav Yitzchak, son of Rav Yehuda. V'lo kami kamei, and he didn't stand up in his honor for him. The ikpad, and again he was angry, he was upset. Why? So what's going on here? Answers the Gemara, afilu hachi. That's the answer. Hidu mi abed lebo, which means there is kovod and there is kovod. There is kovod and there's hidu, which means when we say that the Talmud Chacham can be moichel and is covered, that is to say, if he serves you wine, you accept the wine, right? Okay. In other words, as much as he was moichel and is covered, the extra covered of not getting service, it's an extra thing by Talmud Chacham, that the Talmud Chacham can say, I'm relinquishing, wavering it, I'm fine. But there's another mitzvah called what? What's v'hodarta pnei zoken? You have to stand up when the zoken, the Talmud Chacham, comes into the room or comes within your daladamis. That's the problem here. Even if they didn't want to stand up, meloi koimosoi, the full height, which they should have, because it's Michael the covered, the minimum of hidur they should still have done. Yeah? The Talmud Chacham shmochel kvoidoi does not mean you can treat him like a doormat, doesn't mean you can treat him like a shmata, and b'chla don't stand up in his honor. It means that when it comes to your daladamis, you have to at least, mehadar means like this, show as you're standing up a little bit, as if you want to stand up full height, and you don't. Like people do today, an older end comes to the room, you do hidur, right? In other words, something symbolic. So it does, you can't completely ignore the covered of Torah, you have to show minimum covered, and that's the message you were sending them. It's not a stira. Be moichel on the entire covered, then on the highest level of covered you can. But the minimum level of covered and hidur, that they should still, even if he's moichel, he should still keep that. And that's halacha. I don't know exactly all the examples, but minimum covered of Talmud Chacham should have. The extra covered you don't, or hidur is a good example. Amar Vashi. Now, yes, I should really look at Mitzvah Hashem and halacha on Sunday. I'll show you some halachas here. Weiter. Thank you. Amar Vashi. Even according to the opinions that say that a Rav may be mochel in his kavod and it works, nosi shemochel kavoidoi and kavoidoi mochel. What's a nosi? A nosi is somebody that continues the Davidic dynasty, somebody from Beis David, and he would be the head of Klal Yisrael, not being a melech, doesn't have a crown, and he doesn't have Sheven HaMishcha, as far as I remember, and he doesn't have Chvei Sefer Torah on his arm and all that, but he's the head of the nation, and lo yoso shevet miyudo mechoikek mibein raglov, the people from Beis David, such as Gamliel, Rabbi Yehuda Nosi, they were all from the same family. They're all from that. They're like remnants of the real kings of the times of, Malchus David. Such a person in Nasi, if he gave up on his covet, ain't kvodim mochul. As we're going to see, a melech cannot be mochul on the covet. So to a Nasi, because a Nasi is supposed to be a leader, supposed to be high up there, so he's supposed to represent the nation, be number one person in the state, and he's not supposed to be mochul in his covet. And if he did, it doesn't work. You still have to give him covet. Maybe. Question on that. Ma'aseh Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Tzadok, three Choshev Tanoim, Sheyu Mesubin Bebeis Hamishta. Again, we are talking about Tanoim in a wedding. Before it was a Amoraim, now it's Tanoim sitting at a wedding. B'noi Shel Ben Gamliel, the son of Ben Gamliel, and as I just told you, Ben Gamliel was a Nasi. Ben Gamliel Oimed Mashke Alem. Wow, look at that. Ben Gamliel stood there and he gave them. He was the one in charge of the drinks. He was the butler. Okay. And Nosan Kosler Blazer, he gave the cost to Blazer. He gave the cost, the cup of wine to Blazer. He didn't take it. Nosan Rabbi Yeshua. He gave the cup to Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Yeshua gladly accepted the wine from the Nasi, from the hands of the Nasi. Rabbi Blazer now pulled off Rabbi Yeshua. Maze Yoshua. Yoshua, what's going on over here? Anu Yoshvin Gamliel Barebi Oimedu Mashke Aleinu. We're sitting here like kings, and Rabban Gamliel Berebi, the Choshev Mensch, Rabban Gamliel, the Talmid Chochem, the Nasi, he's standing and he's giving us mashke. He's like tending to us. He's the waiter over here. It's wrong. Omerle, and says Rabbi Yoshua, no, I have my own shita. Look, Matzinu Godol Mimenu Shishimesh. Yeah, we found in Jewish history in Tanakh somebody greater than the Nasi, greater than Rabban Gamliel, and he also served people. The one and only Avram Avinu, Godol Ador Hoyo. Avram Avinu was Godol Ador. Yeah, Avram Avinu was the greatest person in his generation. Absolutely, unequivocally. Hoyo, the Kosov boy, and it says about him, who Oimed Alem Lashosam. Yeah, he was Oimed Alem. Avram Avinu stood over the Malachim, over his guests, and he served them. It's true, Avram Avinu was an amazing Machnis Orchim, number one in the world. He could have asked other people to do it, as some of the things he did, right? And here, but the actual serving, he served them himself. So you see that Avram Avinu Godol Ador served people, and he was okay with that, and they were okay with that. And it seems to be a nice story in the Torah which we all follow. So it's okay for a Nasi to give cover. Shema Toimru, maybe you're going to tell me, Kemalocha Shoes Nid Muloi. Maybe you're going to tell me, no, he knew that the Malachim, of course, they were Malachim, right? Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, they were Malachim, so thank you very much. If Malachim come to me, I would of course serve them. Malachim comes to the Nasi, but we're not Malachim, so maybe we should not receive the covet from the Rav. Answers Rabbi Yeshua himself, no, says Rabbi Yeshua on his own question. It says that he thought that they were Arabs. They seemed to him like Arabs. Why? Because we see that the first thing he tells them to do, SOSASAP, is what? Wash your feet right away. Because the dust on their feet of the Arabs was their Avodah Zarah. So he wanted Avodah Zarah. Welcome to my house, leave Avodah Zarah behind. So he thought there were Arabians. He thought there were Arabs. The Anu and us people, us Tanoim, Lo Rabban Gamliel B'Rei B'Yom Mashke Aleinu. Can't we have Rabban Gamliel giving us the drink, helping us drink? Why not? He's not better than Avram Avinu, with all due respect. Omer Lehem Rabbi Tzadok, the third Tana, the one that was sitting together with Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yoshua. Rabbi Tzadok's the third one. He's now voicing his opinion, and he says, Ad Mosa etem menichim kvoda shel mokoim, vatem oiskim b'kovod habrios. Till when are you leaving besides? Why are you neglecting? Why are you ignoring in your argument the kovod of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the mokoim, and you keep talking about the kovod of people? Meaning, I have a better proof from HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. Look at that. HaKadosh Baruch Hu meishiv ruchos. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one who blows the wind for us. Umayla Nisim, he brings up the clouds for us. Umoyrid motor, brings down the rain. It's raining now, Baruch Hashem. For us. Umatzmiach adama, right? He helps the vegetation grow from the ground. Baruch shulchan lifnei kol echad ve'echad. HaKadosh Baruch Hu sets the table. Look, beautiful fruit, beautiful grains, beautiful legumes, beautiful food, milk, honey. Hashem gives us everything. Hashem is number one, kivyochol, servant in the world. It's hard to say, but excuse me, that's going on here. So again, he's basically giving another, more support to the opinion of Rabbi Yeshua, that people as great as Avraham Avinu, and in this case, HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself, he definitely gives us the drink, he serves us, and yet it's okay. So why can't Rabban Gamliel do the same, right? So basically, what do we see? That a Nosi, maybe Mechel is covered. 2 out of 3 Tanoim believe that a Nosi can be Mechel the covered. Not only that, Rabban Gamliel himself was not angry with them. Rabban Gamliel served them, and everything was fine. The exception to the rule is Reb Lezer. Ela itmarachi itmar. Therefore, we must change what we said before. We regret what we said before, and we say, Omar Avashi, afilu leman doma nosi shemochel kvodo kvodo mochul, even according to the opinion that says that a nosi that relinquished is covered, it does work, and that seems to be the halachic opinion. Melech shemochel al kvodo ein kvodo mochul. A melech that gave up on his covered, a melech that relinquished his covered, his honor, that doesn't work. You should always respect your king, whatever happens. Why? Shneimar, it says about the melech, in Dvorim, soim tosim alecho melech. You should surely, soim tosim, you should place upon you in a strong manner the melech, shetei mosei alecho, alecho melech. The whole idea of melech is a mosoi, his fear, his awe should be upon you. Let me explain something. Obviously, a melech, if you know the history of Malchi Israel, Malchi Yehuda, let's go for the better one, not all of them were the biggest tzaddikim, not necessarily the biggest Talmidei Chachamim. Shlomo HaMelech was the wisest of all men. Good for him. David the Melech, big tzaddik, who wrote Tehillim. Chizkiyahu was amazing. Chizkiyahu, everyone sat and learned in these times. There was no war, no Gaza. They didn't need soldiers. Amazing people. But not all of Malchi Yehuda were the biggest tzaddikim, and there were chachamim better than them. So what's pshat? Why are we saying that a melech cannot give up on his kavod and the Talmud Chacham can? It's very simple. That's what the Gemara is telling us. The Gemara is telling us the Talmud Chacham, it's his Torah, it's his own Torah, and therefore he says, listen, as much as I know Torah, I'm mochel mekavod. You have to respect the Torah. You have to respect the Sefer Torah. You have to respect the Chumash, respect the other people. I'm okay. A melech, his whole essence is what? Precisely because Melech doesn't necessarily have any good qualities himself, right? He's representing authority. Melech is authority. If you don't respect authority, then that's not authority anymore. Yeah? What? It's anarchy, exactly. If there's no monarchy or another form of good, whatever system, then it's anarchy. We have to know there has to be someone above us, and that's the idea. The Shenk and the other ones, the parent or the Rov, if they're Moichel, they're Moichel. Don't know. Now we're going to learn about the other mitzvah of the Mipnei Seva Tokum, the Odarto Pnei Zoken. So again, let me preface this by telling you the following. We have today till 10:30. Okay, good. Yeah. We have 2 mitzvahs in the Torah, and they're written together in the same pasuk. And also we learn certain details from one mitzvah to the other. Mipnei Seva Tokum. What's Seva? Seva literally means white hair. Seva halachically means a man over 70, or according to the Zohar, above 60, right? A person who's over 60, over 70 deserves a certain amount of respect, regardless of his level, almost regardless of his level in Torah, as we're going to see. And there's another mitzvah of a zokein. Zokein is opposed to the way we view it in modern Hebrew, which is zokein means an old man. Zokein could be as young as 18. Why? Talmud Chacham. The Yanuka, you know the Yanuka? The Yanuka, the age of before 20, you call it Rakula. Yeah, not normal. It's above Teva. Like the Gon Vilna. So therefore, what? Somebody who's very young, but a big Talmud Chacham, and behaves like a Talmud Chacham with good midos, you have to give him a lot of respect. No, there was Blazer Ben Azariah. Yeah. That's in Brochas Kafches Amud Aleph. So he asked Hashem to have some white hair. Yeah. Tono Abonon. Mipnei Seva Tokum. It says you should get up. Now, it doesn't mean getting up in the bus to give him a seat as people think. That's also a nice thing to do, very important. We're not talking getting up for technical reasons because he needs to sit, which is also choshuv, which is a good thing to do and very, very good and important. It's just not the local mitzvah here. And therefore, the mitzvah here is the man has where to sit, he has where to go. But you have to stand up to show respect. If they say vatokum, yochol, you should stand up in front of the seemingly old man. Yochol afilu mipnei zoken hashmoi, even if the person is zoken shmoi a rosha. Yeah, is that so? Talmud loimer zoken. In other words, the word zoken also applies to the old man, which is called seva. Vein zoken ela chochom. A zoken means a person who is a wise man. Shenemar isfa lishivim ish miziknei Israel. It says that Kodesh Baruch Hu asked Moshe Rabbeinu, now in Pashas Ba'aloischo, it's too much for you. Okay, get a beis din of 70 people plus you, 71. And those people, obviously, they are very smart, as the Torah says. Get me people who are choshuv and smart and not roitz for betza and all that. Get 70 people. How are they called? Zikanim. It doesn't say old. Zikanim there means people of high quality, of high caliber. Oh, so a person who is who's an ashmoi, a person who's a rosha, a person who's mamisha, we're talking about the other extreme. A person who's anti-Torah, apikoros, teaches apikoros, he hates the chachamim. Such a person, well, he's definitely not a Talmid Chacham or even aspiring to be Talmid Chacham. He hates the Talmid Chachamim in the Torah. He does not deserve covenant. You see some big koifer, anti-Torah, professor, I don't know, judge, don't stand up in front of him. Yeah, I don't know about the Tinuk Shenishma. That's an interesting question. You see a Chiloni person with white hair over 70. It can be Machmir, but whatever. Yeah, I don't know if he's a Shmoi, but it's not Talmid Chacham either. 1 second, please. I'll be with you soon. But definitely somebody who's an anti-person, a koifer, no, you don't stand up. You don't show him any respect by standing up. Another source for the same idea. Zoken al misha kona chochma. Zoken means zet kona chochma, a person who acquired the chochma of the Torah. Shneimar, it says Hashem Kanani Rashiz Dalkoi. Hashem Kanani Rashiz Dalkoi relates to the Torah. Hashem Kanani Rashiz Dalkoi. The Torah is the derech of Hashem, and Hashem Kanani. Yes. So, okay. So the old man that deserves respect is Seva, not Zoken. Zoken teaches me the parameter of Seva. Yeah? That what kind of man with white hair do you have to respect? Someone who's somehow on the derech. Yeah? Not the one who's an ashmoi, which is a no bad old man. Yeah? Okay. Yeah. Weiter. Second line. Now, okay. Yochol yamod miponov mimokum rochoik. Oh, here comes the question. Let's say I want to stand up in front of the in honor of the old man. And by the way, these things also apply to a zokin, right? Yeah. In other words, it is true that both an old man deserves respect to stand up for him, and also the Talmid Chacham. Shall I stand up in his honor from a faraway place? He's very far away. Do I have to already stand up? Maybe it's more mahudar. I'm so mahadar. I see him on the other side of the street. I already stand up for him? No. Talmud loimar tokum vehodarta. The words tokum and hodarta are written together, meaning lo amarti kima ela b'mokum sheyesh hidur. Kima is only applies when there's hidur, which means lehader, hadar, glory. You should only, so to speak, glorify him by standing up, yeah? Or standing up showing covered. If you stand up over here and the zokan is very far away, they don't connect. People around you don't see the connection, yeah? I'm standing up, maybe because my back is itching, because I want to do some exercise. Maybe that's how you don't see that I'm standing up in honor of the man coming in, yeah? And therefore, you should really stand up only when he's close by, which is either within your Daled Amis, as Rashi says. He comes to your Daled Amis, and then it's clear, oh, he just entered my space, my domain. I stand up for him. Or there is another point to be discussed later when it comes into the room. That's not what Rashi says now. When it comes into the room. Now, yochel yadrenu b'momoin. Now, maybe, how do you know that hodarto means to stand up? Maybe it means give him money. Yeah, maybe hidur, lahader, give him cover, but giving money. Give him a big gift, a big check, a big bank transfer that would make him very, very happy. Oh, very nice. To be mehadr b'mamoin. Talmud loymar tokum vehodarto. What does it mean? Maki mashen b'chesron kis, afhido shen b'chesron kis. Very nice. Which means, because again we compare standing up to giving hodor, to honoring. It means just like to stand up from my seat doesn't cost me anything. So to the hidur means something which doesn't cost anything. So far, how did we explain hidur? So far, we said hidur means getting up in a way that shows covered, right? In other words, so far, the way we learned the Gemara so far is tokum vehodarta means get up in front of him in a way that shows hidur. In other words, hadart is so far is not viewed as a separate mitzvah. It's a detail in tokum. How do you stand up in a way that shows, that demonstrates respect? He came to my daladamis, oop, it's like, he pressed the button, boom, the doll gets up. Yeah, so you see, that's a covered. And now another question in the same venue, in the same idea, with Tokum Vodarta, first wide line. We are now Lamed Beis, Amud Beis, Leiv, have some heart. Yochel Yamud Mipon Mi Beis Hakisam Beis Hamechatz. Let's say, you stand up. You're in Beis Hakisam, you have to stand up when he comes in. I don't know how that works exactly. Beis Hamechatz. A Rav, a local rabbi comes to the Beis Hamechatz, to the mikveh, and you are in the mikveh, sitting, getting dressed, getting undressed. You have to stand up in front of him, for him. No, says the Gemara. You don't have to. Talmud Loimar, Tokum vehodauto. Stand up and show respect, meaning only in the place which is respectable. It's medrash, or could be in a coffee shop, wherever you are. That's normal. People are dressed. People behave normal. Then, in a respectful place, show respect by standing up. A mikveh is a place that, for obvious reasons, very holy, going to the mikveh. And by the way, Beis HaMerchatz is not only mikveh. Back then, Beis HaMerchatz was a public bathhouse. People did not have showers in their own house, or definitely not bathtubs. It was very fancy. Unless you're a Kohen in Yerushalayim, they had their own mikveh, each one, because they had to be Torah all the time. You see it in archaeological diggings all the time, I know. But most people didn't have a bathroom in the house, not a toilet, an outhouse, it's called in English. There's no toilet, no shower. They go to a public place, go to the public bathhouse. That's not respectable. There, you don't have to show respect. The Rav comes in. Hi, hello. I don't have to show respect. Maybe, and as we'll see later, maybe not even for the wrong reason, a person may pretend as if he didn't see the person coming in. Let's say it's talking about both Talmid Chacham and an old man. For whichever reason, I bury my eyes in the Gemara, in the Chumash, when he comes in, and people on the outside don't see that I don't respect him for a reason. They think I just, by fluke, I missed him. He's out of my vision, out of my radar, and I'm faking it. I'm faking. I did see him from the corner of my eye, but for whichever reason, I'm not standing up in front of him, and I'm pretending as if I'm shakua in something else. Maybe that's okay, because outwardly it looks fine. I'm not showing him in an audacious way disrespect. Talmud Loimar, here we use another word, Tokum, and the next word, Veyoresa, Davar Hamosul Alev, Nema Bo Yoresa Melokecha, which means you should get up in front of the old man or the Talmid Chacham, Veyoresa, meaning who's the one who knows what's inside your heart? The one and only HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Whenever there's a Davar Hamosul Alev, whenever there's a mitzvah which is up to the heart, it's something which only you know because it's inside the inner rooms of your heart. That is a Kodesh Baruch Hu. You have to fear Hashem and know Hashem knows very, very well. You did see the Talmid Chacham and you're pretending and faking. You can fake, you can pretend and lie to everybody in the world except for to Hashem. And therefore, don't play games and get up in front of whoever you have to get up for. We're going to now go into another point. How do you know that a Talmid Chacham on his side, the Zoken, should not be matriach the tzibur, should not make the tzibur stand up? Which means, let's say the Talmid Chacham can go through a back door, go through another way. Rosh Hashiva comes into a huge bes medrash, the Mir, the Ponevish, the Mir Brachfeld, whatever, he goes in, from the main door, everyone gets up, and maybe it's good for them. No, maybe it's educational for them. Don't think he's dafka an ego trip. Slow down. Or maybe no. Says the Gemara, no. It's better to go through a side door, a back door, almost unnoticed. He comes in from the little cutesy little door in the back, like some Rabbonim have, right? Behind the Mizrach, they have a door. Boom, they come in from there. The Gro has it in the show. And that he's not matriach. He's not causing other people the tircha, the hassle of getting up. Talmud Loimar, Zoken ve Yoresa. You, Zoken, you too have to be a Shamayim. Wow. You too also have to have Yiras Shamayim and not cause the people tircha. Interesting. We're going to now stop here. Thank you very much. The Zoken should have Yira from Hashem and also play down, lower profile, be an Anov. They have to give you covered. You don't have to demand the covered. Except for Rabbi was mechanech the people at the wedding, yeah. But other than that, yeah, you don't have to dafka demand covered. Have yiras shamayim and humility. Have a good chodesh. Agita chodesh to everybody. Shenishma besuras toivas shvat. All the flowers now are going to start growing. Emerz Hashem, and the Mashiach will come soon. Atzlochu bracha leiv Amud Beis. Remember, Lamed Beis. See you next week Sunday, Emerz Hashem. Atzlochu bracha. Thank you to everybody on tour anytime. Everybody on YouTube, everybody on Zoom, on the phone, and here. Wow. Thank you, Atzlocha, and all the Tuv Sheba Oilam. Thank you, Agitin Shabbos.